you doing? All right? Yes.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Morningside After Dark Breakthrough. I'm co-host Rebecca Sorensen. We are so happy to bring you this night of stories and songs with an incredible group of performers who broke through the technology limitations at home to bring you tonight's show. We are incredibly grateful to them, and we have some other people to thank before we get started. Andy Vogel and George Scott McKelvey, they made the magic happen, and we are so grateful for their tech support to launch tonight's show. We also want to thank our regular crew, John Robinson, our sound engineer, David Bilgen, our stage manager, and Mary Engelke, our house manager.
Hi, everyone. I'm Katie Vernon, a co-host of the show. Thank you to our sponsors for making tonight possible. Yoga Fit Linden Hills, Hyperbole, best podcast ever, Totally Twisted Masks by Carol Bruns Couture and Alma Maya, Scent & Sons, Pete Bros, Ingredients Matter, Jan and John Bell, Rebecca and Mark Sorensen, and Coloring Books for a Cause. We also want to mention our nonprofit partner, Dissonance. Now more than ever, I'm proud to be a part of an organization that supports people in the arts community with mental health or substance abuse issues. If you or anyone you love is looking for help, please check out their updated resources at dissonance.website.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jim Mahoney, and I'm another co-host of Morningside After Dark. On our Facebook page tonight, you can find the details to donate to the Twin Cities Music Community Trust, with so many musicians, wait staff, bartenders, sound professionals, and many others who bring us so much great live music, losing most or all of their income. We urge you to consider a donation to this group. First Avenue is the crew that brought this Twin Cities Music Community Trust forward, and we thank them for sharing their thoughts with us too. Your contributions to this will help these hardworking, passionate people until we all get back to going to shows live. So from there, welcome, and let's turn the show over to Laura Hauser and Sean Tillman, who is also known as Harmar Superstar, to hear about a creative opportunity to support the music community here in the Twin Cities.
Hey there, Morningside After Dark. How's it going? I'm Sean Tillman.
And I'm Laura Hauser.
And we are representing Coloring Books for a Cause this episode. And, we thought it might be odd if we tried to read you a coloring book.
It's a little difficult to read pictures, but...
But, we thought we'd make a little ad for the coloring books that we are publishing right now. One's for... the big coloring book of First Avenue, that's a benefit for the Twin Cities Music Community Trust.
And our second one is the big coloring book for Grumpy's and Palmer's Bar that helps benefit the staff of Grumpy's and Palmer's.
Yes. So basically, they're chock full of activities, and it'd be awkward if we tried to read you these, but if you want us to, we can read you this page. It says Lizzo and Sophia Aris.
And Mark Mallman. Both Minnesota staples in the music industry.
But basically, we're offering, a Prince, Paisley Mays, help find the way through. There's so many different pages of classic Minnesota acts in this, and such a good cause that we're trying to support locally.
And in the big coloring book of Grumpy's and Palmer's, you can grill with Pat from
Dwyer.
Grumpy's. You could also, draw your favorite bartender. Maybe you miss your bartender so much that you want to color them in, making you that old-fashioned.
Oh, your local public house.
Yeah.
What's this page I'm finding right here? Oh my God.
It looks like our little dog Figgy even colored in his own page.
Yeah, he must have added us to the wall of shame for not giving him enough treats.
What did he do? Oh, Sean.
Oh my God.
Not enough treats. Oh, you gotta give him more food.
And
it looks
short walks from Laura. Damn.
Thanks, Figgy, for making us look bad.
And thanks for participating in the coloring book fun. That's the thing. The whole family can get involved. And you can order as many as you like. Send them to your friends. Go to coloringbooksforacause.com. That's coloringbooksforacause.com.
Cause.com.
Yes, plural books.
Yes. We also have an Instagram and Twitter that you can check out if you'd like to see more photos and behind the scenes action as we make more coloring books.
Yep. We even have a third book that benefits Violence Free Minnesota, a coalition to end relationship abuse and domestic violence. So that's a beautiful 24-page coloring book that's dance party themed, made by Emma Eubanks and Michael Gahn.
Shake your groove thing.
Enjoy the rest of the show.
Bye.
Bye.
Hi there. Welcome to Morningside After Dark. My name is Michael Bizet, and I'm going to be reading a couple of poems for you. The first one is called Cast Iron Airplane, and I think it fits reasonably nicely with the theme of breakthrough. I have an airplane made out of cast iron. It has no engine. It does have rubber wheels that allow me to wheel it out into the open fields on sunlit days and climb into the cockpit. Or maybe the day isn't sunlit. Maybe a light snow is falling, and the frozen grass is slowly being covered, and the only sound is the crunch of my footfalls and the creaking wheels, my breath coming in little white huffs. I slip into the pilot's seat and sit gazing at the dark pines that line the edge of the field. Then the plane begins to rumble and climb into the air, heavily but steadily and silent as the snow itself. If you're going to fly a cast iron airplane with no engine, you might as well do it when it's snowing. Either way, the risk is there until you get above the clouds. That's the only reason to own such a machine. And to be honest, I don't own it. I just kind of borrow it sometimes. And now it's disappeared, and I'm just up here zooming along in a tiny seat. Shirt tail whipping madly. No plane whatsoever. Just me feeling the wet breath of cloud on each cheek, staring down at a world that looks as if it were a meticulous model train layout in the basement of some guy. Maybe a guy with too much time on his hands. Or maybe that's unfair. Maybe he has just the right amount. Maybe he believes in the world enough that he wants to remake it, small and dear and delicate, in his basement, where he goes and sits sometimes and opens a beer, just one, and his eyes rove over his little world, hungrily taking in every detail with a feeling more quiet than love. Thanks for that thunderous applause. I'm going to talk a little bit. Sorry about my enormous thumb there for a second. This is real life, folks. When I was a kid and people would get into the debate about what kind of superpower that you wanted, whether it was super strength or invisibility was a big one, I would rarely speak up because, of course, having the superpower of being able to sing opera was not really big in the circles that I moved in. But I did take that superpower and put it into a poem that I hope fits these times as well. It's called The Everyday. I have to confess, this isn't the first time I've wondered what I might do if I possessed an operatic tenor that could float above the quotidian day into a sky filled with clouds and light. My voice might linger in the emptiness, kiting there on its muscular wings as I stood at the bus stop below, my hand tucked snugly in my pocket, fingering the proper change as usual. In between arias, I would probably crane my melodic neck into the street to see if the square face of the bus, with its stolid brow of amber lights, was nosing through morning traffic, hoping for once that it might be late and give me a few more moments to lift my voice into the morning, bearing its tumultuous song of Italian pain. I vow that I would use this gift only as necessary, sometimes a quaver, sometimes a sob, whether waiting in line at the bank or leaving an outdoor cafe. The tip tucked under a coffee cup, so that the only thing that might be blown away would be my fellow diners, as I squared myself and launched into a raucous "Di quella pira lorendo foco," as a sign of gratitude for the apple pie, with its crust so buttery, and its subtle hint of cinnamon. As the final notes died into a resonant silence, I would flip my scarf over one shoulder and touch one hand to my heart as I waded out through the tiny tables, the members of my string section following at a discreet distance, nodding appreciatively because, yes, a gypsy may have cursed the little brother of the Count, and thus my mother will no doubt be burned at the stake. But it was marvelous pie, and the coffee was pleasing, and really, isn't it the everyday that needs celebrating? Thank you. Thanks for not coming out. Be well.
Hi, my name is Olivia Pierce, and today I will be singing an original song called As I Am. I wrote this song as a question, and I found my breakthrough in the fact that the answer has been a resounding yes. This song will be available on all music platforms in early June under my stage name, Moyana Olivia. But for now, here's As I Am. You know I'd cross 1,000 oceans, oh, I'd break the waters for you. I'd walk through tons if I had the smile on my face. No, there's nothing that I wouldn't do. But even though I give you my everything, I can't give you all that I am. Oh, I wish that when you looked at me, oh, you'd see the perfect girl you want me to be. But I can't change this piece of me, and I'm tired of trying. I'm tired of crying, 'cause you love me just as I am. Ooh, I spent years trying to keep quiet. For your sake, I've been trying to hide it by lying, but I still want to find love just like everyone else. Oh, I just want what you already have for yourselves, but you keep pushing me away. You won't understand. I don't wanna get caught up for holding her hand. Oh, I wish that when you looked at me, oh, you'd see the perfect girl you want me to be. But I can't change this piece of me, and I'm tired of trying. I'm tired of crying, 'cause you love me just as I am. Maybe one day I can come out into the light. Maybe I can stand tall with pride instead of fighting and fighting to keep my heart at bay. Don't you know this battle's in vain? You know I'd cross 1,000 oceans, I'd break the waters for you. But trying to force my heart to love someone new, that's the one thing you can't ask me to do.
Hey, my name's Suzanne Fenton, and this is Making a List, Checking It Twice. I come from a long line of highly efficient left brain, overachieving females that start and end each day with a to-do list. The odds of getting one of them to veer off a linear path with anything not on the damn list is like betting on the Timberwolves to win the NBA Finals. It ain't going to happen. Not unless me or someone they know is in crisis. They have their list of priorities, and having fun isn't one of them. It doesn't mean they aren't fun. It just means fun isn't considered a priority or necessity, where I believe fulfillment and laughter count for something, if not everything. My wish is that they were a bit more like me, relaxed and flexible, and me a bit more like them, at least occasionally. Part superwoman, part octopus, spinning multiple plates on sticks while riding a unicycle, and sewing PPE face masks, and that's just a Tuesday. They possess the kind of patience and focus a person like me needs to do the crap I can't seem to do. From mailing a package to getting rid of books and toys before I can tell myself, don't you need to keep some of that for when you're a grandma? You get the gist. My MO and OS is not the same as those stellar matriarchs. And just hearing them run down their daily schedules, the intensity and amount of to-dos they all do, is exhausting, even when I'm laying down. I prefer free time talking, creating, playing, and imagining a better world, which, by the way, uses a lot of psychic energy. I live in my head more often than not, and this alternative universe is so vivid and real, I may as well be wearing a virtual reality helmet because it's that engaging and time-consuming. Unfortunately, being prolific inside one's own head doesn't count without the results to back it up. Personal accomplishments are how we are valued and judged in a conventional world. So I try to follow my mom's lead and signature advice, when all else fails, make a list. But first need to find the list I scrawled on a scrap of paper in the moonlight. There you are in the to-be-filed pile collecting desk. Reading it, my brain factors in multiple variables like motivation, weather, is it time sensitive, and all before the most fun saboteur I have, Lady Possibility, invites me to create my own adventure day. It certainly doesn't help that by daylight my to-dos read more like suggestions or fast track to boredom, and I wonder why nothing staring back at me feels as compelling as going for a walk. Integrity and positive outlook do not pay the bills, but do require some effort to refine. Studies show that writing things down actually reduces anxiety and makes us more effective. Great, but how? It's frustrating watching my intentions leapfrog from one piece of paper to the next until I give in, give up, or seek professional help. Because if it's not something I'm passionate about or has a hard deadline, I'm going to need a chaperone or drugs to keep me on task. I like to believe it's because I'm left-handed, and they're not. And ironically, the only type A thing about me is my blood type, but of course they're all O's. So I've come to accept it's just how my brain works, or doesn't, and in this respect I feel different from my family and friends, because whittling down a to-do list seems like the quickest and easiest way to feel productive. What I need is the kind of list that inspires me and holds me accountable to see it through, one that blocks those crafty saboteurs who ask, if it's really that critical, wouldn't you have done it by now? Truthfully, I've never reacted well to anyone telling me what I ought to do, apparently even when it's me at my own behest. Though I continue to be intrigued and repelled by these devices, there is something clearly Pavlovian and validating to completing a task. From finishing a puzzle, matching on socks, or returning items to Target in under 90 days. Listing makes it possible for human beings to do more and accomplish more in a calendar year than we ever could without. Middle sister navigates several lists at once, beginning a new one just before running off the page, and she uses a legal pad. And I'm like, really? You have that much to do and time to do it? All I know is if I were judged solely on my ability to accomplish tasks in a timely manner, I'd be screwed in hell with no self-worth. There's something to be said about leaving some space to be curious, spontaneous, or spiritual. Just being present and still, like we're all experiencing right now. Each of us has a unique mission to accomplish in the time we're given. So technically, if I'm going to make a list and stick to it, I'd prefer the to-dos help guide me closer to that goal. Like, why am I here? What matters most? And what can I do today to support that mission? At least writing it down should make me more effective. Let's hope so.
I do feel a little bit like a Rock'em Sock'em robot.
Is the thing on? Is the phone already on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good though, because it's so delightfully fuzzy.
So, I'm Dylan Hicks. This is John Munson. We've got a record coming out in the fall called Munson Hicks Party Supplies. It's a set of my songs that John sings lead on most of it. John's the lead producer too. We both play on it. And then our friends Richard Mennick and Zach Harris and a whole bunch of other guys play.
Yeah, it's a really fun record. We're super excited to get it out. Hopefully, there will still be an economy. I'm expecting. Whenever we put it, let's not put it out until the economy is rebuilt.
Yeah, and restructured.
Yeah, restructured.
Well, that's our demand. You won't get this record.
This song is called "Only Smoke."
To set it up just briefly, imagine you're in an open mic setting, and an unseasoned performer gets up to do his or her song for the first time and can't quite make it through, and the MC steps in to save the day, and that's sort of how the first verse starts, and then it kind of goes from there. 1, 2.
Hey, it's alright, brother. It happens to the very best. Sheena Easton to Hetty West. Everybody fails the test. Yeah, you know the words, you just don't know where they're at. The paint's sharp, the notes are flat. You owe $1 when they pass a hat. See, I've been there, that's why I'm here. Wearing tie-dye instead of cashmere. The eternal volunteer. Every chance I get, I choke. There ain't no fire, only smoke.
I can see my little knees shaking on a wooden chair. My father couldn't be there. The teacher had gray hair. My growth that year, she said, was truly exponential. And she spoke of my potential. It was even presidential. But somewhere my pace began to slow. On the road from Judy Blume to Michel Foucault. What I didn't know then, I still don't know. Not every acorn yields an oak. What if there isn't fire, only smoke?
I sang for my supper and lost half my lunch. I was the town's least favorite son. But if everything doesn't just fall in your lap, you may have heard you're not the only one. Well, hope's that thing with feathers, even with ostrich wings. There's another side of things, a granny knot on the second string. Life is not a contest, it sure ain't a fair fight. There'll be some short sticks and long nights, in or out of the spotlight. You overcook your dinner in a pan, and the grease will spatter on your hand. But you open up a window and you turn on the fan. Later on, you let those dishes soak. There ain't no fire, only smoke. Ashes to ashes first cried to last croak. There ain't no fire, only smoke. Thank you, take care.
Some people are born in the mountains, while others are born by the sea. Some people are happy to live in the place that they were born, while others must make a journey to reach the climate in which they can flourish and grow. Between the ocean and the mountains is a wild forest. That is where I want to make my home. This was written by Maya Kababe in the book Gender Queer, a memoir. Hi, my name is Graham. I'm still traveling. If I was a book, it would have 7 chapters. So far. Chapter 1, I am born. It's a short chapter. Chapter 2, I'm a small, naive child. Very naive. I'm always happy. Chapter 3, I go to school and discover friends. Still naive. Chapter 4, I found out that life is not always awesome. Chapter 5, I try to work through it in a roundabout manner. Chapter 6, I start to find me in here. Chapter 7, to be determined, because it's happening right now. This is chapter 7. Isn't it exciting? I'm honored that I get to be in it. I like books. You could say that I'm always reading. I read about 6 hours a day. In fact, if I'm not sleeping, going to school, or hanging out with friends or swimming, I'm reading. I learn a lot from what I read. I get to step into another world and learn about their culture, and art, and love. I learn a bit too much about love. But mainly I get to learn about people. You can learn a lot about a person in a book. You can climb inside their brain and read their thoughts. I'm a mind reader. You can also learn about the author of the book, especially if the book is a memoir. But what if I am a book? Who is the author? Who is writing my book? I want to be a living memoir. I want to write my own book. I want to be the author of my own story. But it's hard. There's a thing called peer pressure. You may have heard of it. Peer pressure says that you have to pick sides. Are you a theater nerd or a sporty kid? They say, are you popular or are you smart? Are you a boy or are you a girl? But I want to be a living memoir. I want to write my own story. I am a drummer, a swimmer. I'm 11 and 88% years old. A 6th grader, a sibling, a dog and cat lover, a nature lover. But I don't have to pick sides. I am not a boy. I may look like a boy and I may talk like a boy, but I'm not a boy. I am a living memoir. I'm writing my own story. All stories belong here.
Oh, hello. Welcome to my bathtub. I was just sitting here thinking about how lucky I am to be able to experience Morningside After Dark right here from the luxury of a warm tub with that beautiful candlelit glow right behind me. It is truly the best thing ever. Wouldn't you agree, Danielle?
You are so right, Amy. Truer words have never been spoken.
We are so thankful to Rebecca and her incredible team of producers who have put together this virtual Morningside After Dark. It's incredible. The songs, the stories, the talent.
Traditionally, one usually gets dressed and wears clothing to Morningside After Dark. But not this month. This month is different.
It is beyond fabulous. And do you know what else is beyond fabulous? Hyperbole, the best podcast ever. You can listen to it wherever you get your podcasts. We'd be forever grateful. And hey, do it from the tub. All the cool cats and kittens are doing it.
I feel so damn helpless watching it all play out. Everyone seems so damn reckless. Some keep it in, some lash out. And here I want my head held high. No more hiding in the back. I'll raise my hand, you can call on me. I need to pick up my slack. But it's time to find the courage. It's personal to me, you see. You were talking about my sister. She practically raised me. She raised 3 kids on a teacher's budget. She wants to change the world and still finds faith in it. She believes in God and bows in His mercy. Please tell me what's the controversy. She loves grape nuts and strong black coffee. She hates to cry, that's where we disagree. She feels injustice and won't take the blame. I'm fairly certain we'd all feel the same. I know we all would feel the same. We got to find our courage. She raised 3 kids on a teacher's budget. She wants to change the world and still finds faith in it. She believes in God and bows in His mercy. Please tell me what's the controversy. She loves grape nuts and strong black coffee. She hates to cry, that's where we disagree. She feels injustice and won't take the blame. I'm fairly certain we'd all feel. Yeah, I know we'd all feel the same.
Hello, I am Tamara Gray. I am Allie's sister, the one she was talking about. I am her sister, and I am your sister. I am your sister. You do remember me, don't you? I'm the sister who had to do everything by myself and my own way. At 2, I strolled away from home with my doll in tow. At 12, I took my father's Cadillac for a spin into the ditch. At 13, I was the family church-going, choir-singing, camp-loving Christian. At 15, I started working to save for college. At 17, I received a full scholarship, so I took my savings and blew it on pizza and a train trip to the Western USA. At 18, I converted to Islam. A couple of years ago at the Minnesota State Fair, I was in the audience listening to Allie Gray, my sister, sing a song about me, her sister, and she spotted me in the audience and said, "Hi, sister." And the woman from North Dakota gazed over her glasses at me and asked, "Her sister? But how?" Well, sisterhood, my sister, is real. I am her sister and your sister. I am the sister for every person who ever believed. I am sister to Jane Addams, Gloria Steinem, Susan B. Anthony, Maya Angelou, Harriet Tubman, Sister Clara Muhammad, Eleanor Roosevelt, Helen Keller, Jane Austen, and I am sister to Allie Gray. And I am sister to you. This is a sisterhood of greatness. I join it every day. I stand with my sisters and I pull from their strength while they pull from mine. We have learned something about our humanity this year. We are all equally susceptible to disease, poverty, and loneliness. We are all equally capable of love, hope, and truth. We are all capable of living in sisterhood. My sister told many truths about me, and one of them is, I don't like to cry. It's true. In 2012, when war hit Damascus and I had to leave the home I had raised my children in, I didn't cry. When Donald Trump campaigned on a platform that turned my friends and family into state enemies, I didn't cry. When the first Muslim ban fell from the White House and landed on the lives of my brothers and sisters of faith, and I was inundated with phone calls and messages with panicked voices, I didn't cry. And this year, when I shivered with fear and gasped for breath with frightened eyes, I didn't cry. But when she sang this song the first time and called on her courage, called on my courage, and called on all of us to have courage, I cried. I cried in hope, and I cried in love. Then I quickly wiped my tears and took her hand to stand on a very public stage and say, "It is time to find the courage. It's personal to me. And you are talking about my sister, her voice, her call to us all to live a new sisterhood, a sisterhood of courage, voice, and voting. Let's keep on talking about my sister."
Hey, Emery, that's some good music. Emery, oh, sorry, I didn't see you there. Oh my gosh, sorry about that. Hi there. Today, my mom is going to be playing some orchestra. But no, it's not orchestra, George. It's the Bach Sonata Adagio. Sorry, it's kind of hard to pronounce once you don't know it. How about you just say orchestra? Make it simple. Can you go away? Fine, Mrs. Poopyhead. Whatever. Sorry about that. So my mom will be playing that. So here she is. We hope you enjoy. Bye. Later.
Well, they're my favorite people. That's all I can say. Thanks for that introduction, Emery.
Oops, I forgot this.
Get out of here.
Okay, fine.
Thanks so much for being here tonight. I'm thrilled to be a part of tonight's performance. I've been a huge fan for quite some time of Morningside After Dark. Anything that's willing to bring the arts and music to a neighborhood and just to an audience that's willing to walk over, I'm a huge fan of. And so, a huge thanks to all of you for being a part of this tonight. The whole season has really spoke to me. From your biggest mistake, I've made quite possibly all of my largest mistakes on stage in front of audiences. Been really tricky learning lessons on that. And then, tonight's theme of breakthroughs, I think especially during this time, breakthrough means to me, struggle. It's the other side of struggle. And this instrument, again, has represented a lot of that for me. Lots of hard work and lots of tears, lots of celebrations. But I think that's, to me, breakthrough just really represents the other side of all the work and challenges and things that we all experience. So tonight I've got a little bit of Bach for you. I had something totally different planned that I'd been listening to and working on for the past year, but thought I would change it up in the past week because 'tis the season. And thanks again. Thanks so much. Good night.
Hi everybody, I'm John Rosengren. Before we get started, I just want to thank Rebecca, Lori, and Jim for keeping the lights on at Morningside After Dark during the time of the corona. I appreciate the prompt to get dressed and brush my teeth. So, I have a new novel coming out later this month, A Clean Heart. It's about a young guy who got sober when he was 17 years old and works in an adolescent treatment center. I got sober when I was 17 years old and later worked in an adolescent treatment center. Funny how art imitates life, right? But there's a lot in the novel that I made up. For instance, Carter, the main character, passed up on a scholarship to play college hockey so he could get sober. His mother never forgave him. I got cut from the varsity hockey team. My mom didn't care. Also, the treatment center where Carter works is run by a hard-drinking nun with an MBA. Pure fiction. But this essay I'm going to read you is not from the novel. It's a true story about something that actually happened in my life, and in turn inspired the novel. That night, fall of my senior year, was a Saturday night, so I headed to a party. A bonfire, tucked in the woods off Highway 55, where we could drink underage to excess. I had a bottle of Seagrams in my jacket, along with a liter of 7-Up. Didn't take long before I was smashed. I had decided to quit smoking pot at the beginning of the school year, which meant in the first 3 weeks, I had been stoned only a half a dozen times. Somebody asked if I wanted to get high. Sure. I forgot that I'd quit. So I was pretty wasted when the cops showed up. They told us to leave. I told them to leave. Come on, John, my buddy said, tugging on my arm. Let's get out of here. No, we were here first. I was filled with all the righteous indignation of a teenager angry at the world, resentful of rules and limits imposed by parents, teachers, principals, and coaches. That night I laid it all on those two cops, the embodiment of authority. I didn't win the argument. They loaded me into the back of the squad and took me downtown. I woke up in detox. I did not have any identification on me, so I figured if I didn't tell them who I was, I couldn't get in trouble. I had no idea where I was. Turns out 1800 Chicago, near Franklin, a rough part of Minneapolis, 15 miles from my home in the suburbs. But I plotted, once they tired of talking to me, to slip out, hitchhike back, and sneak into my bed without my parents ever realizing I'd taken a detour home through detox. Such were my delusions. They put me in a small windowless cell. After a while, the staff brought me into the office and tried talking to me again. Don't you think your parents might be worried? I looked at the clock. It was 5:45 a.m. A memory flashed through my mind. A time last summer that we had partied all night and I'd come home at dawn. When I finally walked into the house, expecting to crawl into my bed unnoticed, I found Mom and Dad sitting in the family room. The expression on their faces, a mixture of worry, relief, anger, and bewilderment, suddenly sobered me. I didn't want to put them through that again. I told the staff my name and phone number. Turns out Mom and Dad were awake and worried. Sometime during the night, Dad had gotten up, noticed the lights still on, checked my bed, and discovered I wasn't home. Shit. I felt awful. Still, I expected them to come pick me up. In the past, when I had gotten into trouble, they had fetched me from the police station or elsewhere. It seemed they were always there to defend me. This time, they surprised me. They didn't bail me out. I was pissed. If they didn't pick me up, I was going to miss 3 days of school. I'd miss a student council meeting. I'd miss work after school. I'd miss seeing my friends. I'd miss getting high. I pleaded with them. But they let me sit. I stayed 4 days in detox. This was not where I had intended to end up when I set out to party with my friends on Saturday night. When they talked in group about the first step of Alcoholics Anonymous, we admitted we were powerless over alcohol, that our lives had become unmanageable. I had a faint understanding that unmanageable meant getting arrested and winding up in detox instead of home in bed. Detox referred me to treatment. There I began to make a deeper connection between my drinking and drugging and the consequences. Rather than continuing to blame others for what happened to me, I began to admit my part and my powerlessness. Years later, when my dad was dying of cancer and it got down to his final days, he asked to speak to each of his 4 kids individually. When it came my turn, I entered his room at the University of Minnesota Hospital. He lay in bed, his body weakened, but still strong in spirit. He had prepared an apology. "When you were in detox, we didn't come and get you," he said. "It has always bothered me that I didn't help you out. I want to apologize." I had been clean and sober since that night, September 26, 1981. "Oh, Dad, that was the best thing you could have done for me. You didn't rescue me. You let me face the consequences of my actions. That's the help I needed." I watched relief ease across his face. So often we leave the most important things between us unsaid. I had never known he felt this way, and he had never known how I felt. What if he hadn't been about to die? Moments before we closed the coffin for the final time, I slipped in the last medallion I had received for being sober. At that point, 24 years, to send him with a token of my gratitude. Thanks.
A lot of cleaning products aren't really clean, and that's because of their ingredients. Most of them, including plant-derived ones, rely on synthetic detergents made using petrochemicals. Yuck. Ingredients matter. They matter when it comes to what you eat and what you put on your skin. Why wouldn't they matter when you're cleaning your home? That's why we make cleaning products with soap. That means simple ingredients, simple chemistry, and a powerful natural clean. We are on a mission to set a new standard in natural cleaning, because ingredients matter.
At Peat Brothers, great ingredients means eliminating palm oil from all of our products. 80% of the world's palm oil is produced in Malaysia and Indonesia, where every hour, 300 soccer fields of rainforest are burned to the ground to support palm production. This destruction threatens the survival of so many endangered species, which is why we've eliminated all palm oil from our formulations. Peat Brothers, more of the good, absolutely no palm.
Hey there, we're the Teardowns from Morningside. Colin, Liz, Nikki, Ryan, Steve, Mark, Jeff, and me, Jimmy. For the breakthrough theme, we're going to play you a song by the Avett Brothers called Tell the Truth. Because to break through, you need to leave things behind, including some of the stories you used to tell yourself. Hope you like it, and we hope to see you out there someday. Thanks.
Tell the truth to yourself, and the rest will fall in place. Tell the truth to yourself, and the rest will fall in place. I lied to the doctor. I lied to my love. I want to make amends. Where do I start? Tell the truth to yourself, and the rest will fall in place. Tell the truth to yourself, and the rest will fall in place. Tell the truth to Tell the truth to yourself, and the rest will fall in place. Tell the truth to yourself, and the rest will fall in place. Tell the truth to yourself, and the rest will fall in place. Tell the truth to yourself, and the rest will fall in place.
Hi, my name is Mark Ealing, and this is a piece called In Dreams. I knew a man, a friend of mine, a graduate research student in political science who was trapped for years in a kind of academic prison called ABD, all but dissertation. This meant his coursework was complete, but his thesis wasn't. He couldn't write. He was blocked or paralyzed. Deadlines passed, then years. At this time in his life, he had two dreams. In the first dream, he sat inside a commercial airliner waiting to take off. Instead of idling on a tarmac, however, the plane was powered down and then dropped from a ski jump. The plane hit the jump and was launched into the air. The pilot tried to start the engine. It made the classic sound of a car engine not turning over. As the plane fell from the sky, a man in the seat next to him leaned over, looked at my friend's feet and said, "I really like your shoes." Then he woke up. My friend later told me, "How obvious. Of course I've been trying to take off for years. My whole life was the plane." In the shoes comment, it was my own mind chastising me for favoring my wardrobe over my studies. What a transparent metaphor, how stupid, how easily understandable. The next night, in defiance of all criticism, his subconscious mind gave him the second dream. In this dream, everything was labeled, stupidly. He walked into a school called school. He walked into a room called this room. Shadowy figures sat therein, and they all wore shirts that said shadowy committee members. In the middle of the room was a stack of papers called my thesis, and when my friend looked down at his own shirt, there was a sign on it that said me. At this moment, a committee member stepped forward. The figure concluded the dream by saying to the dreamer, "We just read your thesis, and we all agree. It's terrible." A recurring feature of my own dreams is this: I am often being handed or given babies. For example, the dream where a group of friends knocked on my door and then handed me a baby covered in crust. The crust was icy, a hoarfrost, like crystals that appear on a plastic chicken bag left in the freezer. I tried rinsing it. I filled a sink with hot water. I scrubbed. I said to myself, this crust isn't coming off. The baby bobbed in the sink, inert, while steam rose. Or the dream in which a woman handed me a baby and I immediately dropped it. The infant's head striking the wood floor made a sound like a log dropped from a stepladder. I picked up the child. It did not cry or scream, nor did it move its body in any way. The only things that moved were its eyes, which darted around wildly, searching for something. I often think of what my grandfather took home from the war, a series of dreams occurring nightly for the remainder of his life in which he punched, shot, or stabbed men who were trying to kill him. The dreams animated his body in real life. He sleep-fought, and he must have been close to 80 years old when we saw his face one morning splashed purple by a bruise, fresh evidence of the enemy walls and Nazi chairs he attacked in his sleep. He once told me of a dream. A man was pressing down on me, trying to kill me, just pressing down. And when my grandfather woke, it must have taken him several seconds to grasp the reality of it. He discovered that sometime in the night he had wedged himself entirely underneath his own bed. Just this week, near the end of a long night's rest, I fell into a dream. A man handed me a baby, saying, "Take this, it's yours," and I could see instantly something was wrong. The child's face was distended. It was like putty or a thick syrup. It was viscous, and its features melted into creases and folds. I reflexively said, "Oh no." But the old pattern, the one in which I damaged babies upon receipt from strangers, did not recur. Instead, the child spoke, and it said, "I'm the baby, your daughter. It's nice to meet you." We talked, and as we talked, she began to grow and change, the conversation between us lasting minutes or maybe hours, and at the end she had transformed fully into a grown woman. She said, "I'm grown now. It was nice talking with you. I'm going out into the world." I woke. I could see pale light coming through slats in a window blind, the first light of day. Quickly, and without regard for reason, I spoke 3 sentences to myself in my own mind. I said, "It's a good omen. I'll carry it with me today. It's my secret." And as I could hear my family and life preparing to go on a morning walk, rustling their coats and opening closet doors, I rose from bed and I went downstairs to join them.
This is 620 song. Giving up on the meaning, I'm just dulling the pain. Say goodbye to the thought it will all be explained. In all of the mystery life puts in a way. I'm shivering now 'cause I don't understand how I got to here. Only some of its plan. A shrug and a sigh, they don't move where I stand. Long tunnels loom now, lanes narrow a bit. Don't get in a wreck now, make a mess of it. It's only morning, the sun could still break through the mist. You follow an ocean, you follow a star. You look for a secret that led you this far. Time lifted you up, sent you down where you are. The moon is lighting the path that you took. Through all the commotion, you don't stop and look. So much just came down to the dice that you shook. Feeling abandoned and misunderstood. Nobody hears what you think that they would. Nightfall is coming, you can't make that call if you should.
Hey everybody, Sarah here. How you doing? I'm Sarah Stonich, and I'm going to be reading from Fishing, the first book in my Fishing with Rhiannon trilogy, my feminist chick lit, which yes, it's a genre. It is now anyway. And my character does have a breakthrough. It might take her a few chapters to get there, but She eventually does. Her name is Rayanne Dahl, and she's the accidental host of the first all-women's fishing talk show on public television. I'm just going to read a little bit about the introduction to the show. Rayanne cringes at the product peddling, but national public television is just doing what it must to stay afloat. Funding is always a battle, but right now, the sort of politicians her father votes for would love nothing more than to see Big Bird plucked and roasted in the smoldering ruins of Downton Abbey. Moving on, the view hovers above the hand-embroidered bench cushions, one posing the question, "Got fish?" Another features his and hers rulers, his short by 6 inches. Rayanne's favorite cushion has a cross-stitched portrait of Mae West wearing an orange Mae West. I'm Rayanne Dahl. With a slight shrug, she invites the viewer along as if it's just occurred to her. Let's go fishing. Before donning cat-eye sunglasses, she nods once with a look that says, well, are you coming or aren't you? Given the choice, you would go. Even Rayanne has to admit the scene is that inviting. The sleek boat, the soft filtered sun, waves lapping, and the breeze lifting stray tendrils of hair from the nape of her neck. Set dressers and lighting techs have imbued Penelope with the ambiance of a boudoir, as if more than fish might be landed here, as if personal contentment might be schooling in the waters just below. And everyone knows there's chocolate aboard. Producers have high hopes. A few could even kick themselves for not thinking of it sooner, because in hindsight, an all-women fishing talk show is a no-brainer. According to Nielsen, increasing numbers of females between 30 and 80 are tuning in to see guests squirm like the leeches on their lines, or cringe as they hook a chub through its eye. Perhaps viewers enjoy the quiet transitions between the action and the interview segments when Penelope's bow quietly hammocks in the waves, or a line is cast from Rayanne's reel like a thread of spun sugar. She wonders if viewers are simply lulled by the hypnotic cadence of other women's voices, or the purr of her 2.5 horsepower trolling motor, no louder than a vibrator. In any case, they're not changing channels. When ratings or demographics data crop up on Rayanne's screen, she herds them directly into the recycle bin, borrowing Grand Dot's gravelly voice, numbers schmumbers. In her mind's eye, the audience is the size of a large book club or a small studio audience. Not a sea of faces, but a pond, a smiling, indulgent pond, bobbing with women like her mother, her gran, her sister-in-law Ingrid, or the sort of women in her yoga sculpt class she might ask to coffee if she weren't so shy. If she paid any attention to how many women and men were actually watching, she would likely pee her capris. Rayanne assumes that her pond tunes in for the more interesting guests, the ones they must fight for, and for the conversation, because it is a talk show, after all. And don't women crave the voices of their own tribe? Whether laughing or crying, rejoicing or lamenting, even shrieking. Women want to know they're not in it alone. So that's the book, Fishing, University of Minnesota Press, which is a fabulous press to work with. And we do all kinds of fun promotions. And here's just one that I'm doing on my website. I will make you a mask. Just find my Facebook page and look up the promotion. And thank you so much again, Morningside After Dark, for putting this show together and just putting all these people together. It's really an honor. So, cheers to that. Good night.
Good evening, everyone from Morningside After Dark. This is Ashok with Yoga Fit Studios, proud sponsor of the Morningside After Dark for the past 5 years. We're very excited to be a sponsor again this year and wanted to let you know that we are offering 45 to 50 virtual classes per week. If you are interested in more information, just contact me at lindenhills@yogafitstudios.com. Thank you so much. Have a great show.
Hi, so I'm Katie Vernon. Many of you know me. I'm one of the hosts of Morningside and very happy to be doing a virtual edition for you so we can keep going and keep connecting. And this fun place where I am is a Minneapolis treasure called the Wolf House, Bella Luna Studios. This is just the stairway behind me, and every part of the house is just beautifully, amazingly decorated with a nature theme. I don't know if you can see kind of all the way back there. Anyway, it's a very inspiring place, and I decided to have a little getaway here and to make some music for a day. So I'm going to play a song that I wrote kind of at the beginning of all of this staying at home craziness, and hope you like it. I just want to be near you. I want to hold your hand. Wish I could ease the fear in you. You know I understand. It's gonna be a long, hard wait. None of us know how to pass the time. If I could choose a partner for the end of the world, you know I hope to God you'd be mine. I might use today to write a letter saying all the things I never shared. Someday we'll look back when things get better. You'll still have my words to show I care. It's gonna be a long, hard wait. None of us know how to pass the time. If I could choose a partner for the end of the world, you know I hope to God you'd be mine. It's gonna be a long, hard wait. None of us know how to pass the time. I could choose a partner for the end of the world. You know I hope to God you'd be mine. You know I hope to God you'd be mine. I might just believe in God if you were mine. Thank you for being part of our Morningside family, and stay safe. We'll get through this, and we look forward to gathering in the future.
The house. I told my husband I had to write an essay on breakthroughs, and he replied, "That sounds like something that happens to toilet paper." Clearly, toilet paper is on everybody's mind these days. 3 years ago, we purchased the house we currently live in Edina. The house needed a lot of work and a refresh, so we decided to do a total renovation. The only experience I had with home renovations was my self-proclaimed honorary degree for watching the most HGTV. My husband was gearing up for his busy season, harvesting the fall crops, so he was allowing me to do all the preliminary work alone. And when I thought I had the final plan and recommendations, we would review them together, then make our final decisions. Who knew just getting started would be such a process? Finding a designer that could help capture ours, vision on paper, finding a contractor. The contractors I interviewed basically all said the same things, had similar experiences and references, and were generally in the same ballpark when it came to price. In the end, it came down to fit. Who would be honest, patient, prioritize our project, and somewhat flexible given my lack of experience in total home renovations. We decided to hire a small family-owned contractor, Vega Construction, to do the work. Most of the work was done by the owner, Antonio, and his son, Junior, with a few subcontractors. Antonio and his son are from Mexico. Let me pause the story here to give you a little background about me and my husband. I love people. If Dale Carnegie were to update his book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, he would probably include me as an example. I've never met a stranger, and I have a genuine love for people and getting to know them and their backstories. My husband, on the other hand, is a farmer from southern Minnesota. He's an introvert and a deep thinker. It's what I call a benefit of having a lot of time alone on a tractor. He likes people not as much as I do, but he's very witty and prefers small conversations. If we all go to an event, I'll leave having met 10 new people, and he would have had a very meaningful conversation with one, maybe two people at the most. You should also know my husband, who I call 007 is white, and our love affair, or our love, is a May to December romance. Now back to our house project. We weren't living in the house at the time, but I set up a temporary office in the basement since I work from home when I'm not out of town speaking or doing on-air lifestyle work or working with a client. Antonio and Junior worked on our house Monday through Saturday from the Monday after Labor Day until December 23rd. They typically worked 9-hour days, but there were several occasions when they would be there for 12 hours or longer, and even a few times when they worked on a Sunday. Antonio's wife, Maria, came and prepared their lunch every day in a makeshift garage kitchen. During this time, our world and country were rapidly changing. There were ongoing debates on building a wall at the southern border, the tragic Las Vegas mass shooting. Me Too was rapidly gaining momentum. The Affordable Care Act was drastically changed. Opioids were declared a U.S. public health emergency. North Korea conducted a historic nuclear test, followed soon by the launch of a missile. Michael Flynn admitted to lying to the FBI. And a bill that grants reciprocity across states for gun permits was passed. And a little closer to home, Al Franken resigned from the U.S. Senate. The world was becoming very heavy and, in my opinion, a little darker. But I was immune from it with my life inside my bubble, busy with work and managing this house project. I mentioned Antonio's wife coming by to prepare lunch daily. Well, soon I was eating lunch with them too. And when 007 was around, he would join us. Yummy, fresh, authentic Mexican food, carnitas, tamales with tomatilla salsa, chilaquiles, so many yummy, delicious dishes. The times that Maria wasn't able to bring them lunch, I gladly ran over to Jerry's for fried chicken with mashed potatoes, potato salad, or coleslaw, which was no comparison to what I had become used to eating for lunch. During our hour-long lunch breaks together, we never discussed politics or current events. We talked about our families, what our lives were like before this house project, what we were doing in our free time, and our hobbies. Sometimes during the day, when a song came on the radio that I knew or I liked, I would start an impromptu dance party, and we would dance for a little while before Antonio said, "Time to get back to work." As memory serves me, he was definitely more of a taskmaster than me. Our house was originally supposed to be complete on December 15th, but as with all construction, there were a few hiccups and delays. The house would be 95% complete by December 23rd, in time for us to have Christmas there. During the 4 months they spent working on our house, our relationship changed from simply being contractors and clients. We began to see the humanity in each other. We had a new level of respect, admiration, and understanding of and for one another. Another thing you should know about me is that I love to celebrate any and everything. From holidays, birthdays, graduations, accomplishments, weddings, babies, milestones, and even the unexpected warm and sunny day in Minnesota. So it was only fitting that I would celebrate the almost finished house with a makeshift Christmas party for Antonio Jr. and Maria. Our house was completely unfurnished, but we did have our Christmas tree brightly on display in the big picture window in the front of our house. I brought over a few Christmas decorations we had, and we moved the folding table and chairs in from the garage kitchen. I covered the table with a bright red tablecloth, and I put the thank you combo Christmas gifts under the tree for them. But this celebration was different. I never imagined I would experience a breakthrough and redefine what happiness means for me in 007 as we ate Devani's, had a few adult beverages, laughed, sang Christmas songs, and then opened the gifts. The gifts weren't extremely special. A vest for Maria, a robe and tequila for Antonio, and a karaoke machine for Junior. But what the gifts were extremely thoughtful and specifically purchased with the recipient in mind. We wanted this Christmas celebration to be a thank you for the hard work, pride, and love they poured into our house. What I saw in their faces that night was happiness, because we saw them for who they are at the core. We acknowledged and appreciated their hard work. It was a magical evening of love and respect that words can't really convey. And what I felt in those moments was joy, the true meaning of Christmas. I now have a completely different perspective and interpretation of what true joy is. I believe that true pleasure comes from the sharing of joy with one another, and I know that the human heart is truly happy and satisfied by knowing that another person is happy.
Hello, Morningside After Dark. I'm Billy Johnson.
I'm George Scott McKelvey, your trusty sound advisor, and thanks for having us. The theme this month, after this crazy, crazy time, is Breakthrough. So we have a couple songs Billy is gifting us this evening. This one's called Breakthrough, and then we're going to get weird after that.
This light of mine was meant to shine, find somebody's way. Ooh yeah, it's alright, gonna break through to the light. It's alright, gonna break through.
Hey everyone, my name is Jason Schomer, and I'm coming to you from in front of my bedroom window at my house. Crazy times, right? Yikes. And this is take number 468. I wish that was a joke, but it's not. Dead serious. So here we go, fingers crossed. I am going to tell you a story about meeting a cultural icon. So I was working at a radio station, and the one and only Dolly Parton came to do promotion for her new album, Backwoods Barbie. And I am a huge Dolly Parton fan. I grew up listening to her music all the time. My parents had her records and her 8-tracks in the house. I remember watching her TV show with my parents growing up. I've got her own, I've got her CDs and her albums all on my own. Like, huge fan, legit. So here's the thing. I went to her music director and I was just like, I'm a huge Dolly fan. Big time. And I really need to see her, meet her, any way to get a photo. And she's like, oh, sure, you can come and hang out with us. And I was just like, really? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, and I'm dead. Super excited. But here's the thing. It was the morning show, and it's super, super early in the morning. And like crazy early. A lot earlier than I'm ever awake. So I went to work, and I threw all my stuff at my desk. And then I went downstairs with Mary to wait for Dolly to arrive. And we were outside waiting at the loading dock. And all of a sudden a car pulled up, and it had, completely tinted windows and the whole thing. And I just remember thinking like, oh my gosh, Dolly Parton is in that car. Jump on the hood. No, I didn't. I wanted to, but I didn't. But I was super excited. But here's the thing. It was just right after Porter Wagner had passed away, like the day after. And so they didn't know if she was still going to come or not, but she decided she still wanted to go through with her obligations because she's a professional. So it was super cool. But I remember standing outside, and one of her handlers had met us there as well. And he had a card for her. And so she was still in the car, in the back seat, on the phone, and he had a card for her. And so all she did was just roll down the window and stuck her hand out to take the card. And I just remember seeing this little tiny fragile hand come out. And I was thinking, oh my God, that's Dolly Parton's hand. Are you kidding me? Like, but I played it cool. And I was just like, yeah, it's a hand. It's totally a hand. And then all of a sudden, she takes the card, and then a few minutes later, the door opens and out steps Dolly Parton. And I could not believe it. It was amazing. She's incredibly tiny and petite and just so beautiful and gracious. And so we did introductions, and we just kind of chatted for a little bit. And then we decided we were going to go in and go up to the studio. And so we were walking through the loading dock, kind of behind these dumpsters, and then into the building, and then down this like service hallway, and then down another service hallway. And I remember I was trailing behind because I was totally starstruck. And I just remember her turning around and being like, why, Jason, what are you doing back there? Come on up here to the front. And it's just like, Dolly Parton just invited me to walk with her side by side in a hallway. Is this my life? And so I did, obviously. And so we were walking down the hallway, and then we go to the service elevator to go up to the floor where our studios and offices are. And so we're going up, and there's this little room where we come out of from the elevator, and then there's another room after that, and then you're on to the main floor. And so we come into the first room, and it's completely dark, and no one thinks anything of it. And we get out of the elevator, and it shuts behind us, and all of a sudden we're plunged into blackness. No one could see anything. And in that moment, I realized that I had left my key card down at my desk because it was so early and I wasn't thinking. And Mary had done the same thing. And so we were trapped in this little cubby room with Dolly Parton and her manager and another handler. And we're standing there and we don't know what to do. We're all panicking, but trying to play it cool. And after a few moments, all of a sudden the light went on. It just right? And Dolly Parton goes, look, y'all, I flipped the switch. None of us had thought about turning on the light. No one. We were too panicked. And then she points at the sign right next to it and says, and look, y'all, the light should have always been on, because there was a sign that said, do not turn off this light. And that was when Dolly Parton saved my life, basically. So then anyways, we go in, we do the show, and they do the interviews, and it's amazing. And she's so nice, and she's so funny, and she's just amazing. And here's the thing. I wanted her autograph, and I wanted her to sign something that would be kind of really cool. And I have a limited edition CD import of a duet that she did with Culture Club, of all people. Yeah, Boy George and Culture Club. And it's called Your Kisses Are Charity. And I had it, and she's doing some autographs, and we're doing photos and whatnot. And I give it to her to sign, and she goes, "Oh, I love this song." And I was just like, "Yeah, so do I." And she goes, "Yeah, I almost did a solo version of it on my new album, but it just didn't work out." And I was just like, "What? Like, you need to do that, Dolly." She's just like, "Someday I will, because I really love that song." And I said to her, I go, "Well, Dolly, how did you ever end up doing a duet with Boy George anyways?" And she just looks at me, and she put her marker down, and she goes, "What, honey? We've been friends for a long time. We both love makeup." And I laughed really hard. I mean, I just thought it was the funniest thing that she could have possibly said. And then, just some more chit chat and whatnot. And then, she left and went on to do other things. But, here's the thing. Like, I was thinking about it afterwards, and only Dolly Parton could, like, really branch out and become friends with pretty much anyone in this world. And I think that's a good lesson for all of us, that, no matter who we are, as far as our differences or our beliefs or what we perceive to be any sort of lack of common ground with them, Dolly Parton is proof that you can find common ground with pretty much anyone, and not only respect them, but eventually become friends with them, whether they like makeup or not. Have a great night, guys. Bye.
Hey, Morningside After Dark. My name is Abby Wolf. I am a musician, vocalist, sometimes songwriter, often collaborator here in Minneapolis, and I'm really glad to be a part of this evening. So the loose theme is breakthrough, right? I picked this song that I'm about to share. It's called Sponge Cake. I wrote it last year, and for me, making a new song, period, was really a breakthrough in itself. I mentioned before that I'm a collaborator, so I work with all kinds of different composers and producers. And this was the first time in a long time that I had conceived of a song idea from scratch and kind of seen it all the way through in terms of the writing without any other input or a beat from someone else. So for me, this song was definitely like a surfacing of an idea. And so I'd like to reflect that in terms of breakthrough, which can sometimes feel like it needs to be like a really aggressive, forward, like exploding thing. Sometimes it also is a softening and an allowing ideas to come forward. So yeah, that's this tune, Sponge Cake.
Inside my doubting mind, surfacing of subconscious like a speck in my eye that's scratching at me sideways, takes my 20/20 down to 5. These butterflies I brush aside, all inclinations to be curious and wild-eyed. I am the eraser guy, leaving not a footprint behind. I'll never find me. Horoscopes are meant to be merely a mirror or a cherry bomb, a guideline, some kindling for your dinner fire. Cast iron with your Gemini eyes might wanna buckle up. Wheels are up and we cannot come back here until we reach our final destination. Keep your hands inside sun at all times. There are no lies in math. Tug on this thread, the vinyl coating has begun to peel away, and I can see the foam beneath. Sponge cakey and it's yellow beige. What am I scared to see? More like, what is it I'm scared to remember about me? If we survive this unraveling nation, we are going to need all kinds. All kinds. Keep your hands inside at all times, all times, all times, all times, oh. We are going to need all kinds, all kinds, all kinds, all kinds, oh. Keep your hands inside at all times, all times, all times, all times, oh. We are going to need your kind, your kind, your kind, your kind, yo. Keep your hands inside.
Take care. Stay home if you can. Keep your head up. Lots of love. Thank you.
Wow, what a night. Thank you so much to all our performers who are here to help us bring this all to you, including one who's right next to me, Katie Vernon.
Hi, yeah, what a fun night. I'm just, I'm so glad that we still found a way to connect with folks, and actually that we're meeting a lot more people this way and taking it out into the world digitally. So it's been a really fun experience.
Thank you so much, Katie, and thank you to all of you for watching tonight. Please consider giving to the Twin Cities Music Community Trust. Until we see each other again, maybe soon, let us know what you thought. Stay safe, be well, and please stay in touch.
Come on, everybody, it's a worldly party. We believe in justice, we believe in love. Calling every nation, join the delegation, and we will fight until the victory is won. We will overcome, one for all and all for one. Let goodwill be done, not just for some but for everyone. We're just easy rocking. Every day we wake up, pull up of what's happening. And no, we never don't stop and we rise to the top. Catch a vibe and we drop it. We're just easy rocking. Roll a fatty, keep it up and keep it popping. Everybody, somebody, but we don't stop for nobody. Somebody try to stop us, we're dropping bodies on top of this. Fire, fire making it higher.